Welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of the Breakdown Bros. We are so incredibly back. Happy to be back, and we have a ton of great content. We have a packed show for you all today.
Heck yeah. At what point do you stop counting?
I don't know. I think we keep counting till the end of time. I mean, we're not even going to hit triple digits for another year, so we're in a good shape.
I can count that high.
All right.
I appreciate that. What do we got on the docket today?
Today, we will be starting with Big Ten schedules. They've been released. All the schedules are out now.
Woo!
We care the most about the Big Ten schedules. We're really excited about those. So, for our first segment, we're going to talk about the biggest losers and winners. We haven't compared notes, but I think I'm going to start with the 3 losers, 3-1, and then winners. And Josh will also add his thoughts.
Yeah.
I tried to go a little bit off the beaten path because a lot of people are picking the same teams for this, so we'll see what happens. Ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's get started. So, number 1, schedule winner. Number 3, third best schedule. I actually think it's the Wisconsin Badgers. Now, a lot of people wouldn't put the Wisconsin Badgers because they're not that good, and they might not be that good. But if they somehow turn it around and do a little bit better this year, their hardest game is the very first game of the year. They have a really tough out-of-conference game against Notre Dame. And you might think, wow, how could they possibly have a good schedule? But if you follow that up, they play at home against Western Illinois. They play at home against Eastern Michigan. They go to Penn State. Penn State could be really good. They could be really bad. You don't really know yet. Then they play Michigan State, who has a new head coach. Then they are off for a week, a nice bye-week area.
Easy.
You go to UCLA. It's kind of just a vacation to the West Coast. Then you play number 20 USC, but you get them at home at least for your second hardest game of the year. Then you go to Iowa. That's a problem. Playing a game in Kinnick is surely probably the most difficult game on their schedule. But then after that, they finish with Rutgers, Maryland, Purdue, and Minnesota. So if it were a Wisconsin of years past and they were a semblance of good, they really have a shot this year. I'm not super looking out at their season and thinking they'll do well. But there you go. That's Wisconsin's schedule, I think, is a winner.
Well, Wisconsin's good. Don't get me wrong. I think they got a good schedule. I think they got it ahead of them. And I would agree with that. I would probably argue they're probably, in my book, I think they have one of the easiest schedules.
Wisconsin?
Yes.
All right.
I don't think it's third. I think it's first. My third is Maryland, actually.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, Maryland, what we have expected here is they go to Hampton Pirates.
Okay. Never heard of them.
Never heard of them. UConn, easy. Okay. They do get Virginia Tech. And if we've all watched my previous episodes, I'm high on Virginia Tech. So, that's a little bit iffy. UCLA, meh. Nebraska, meh. They do have Ohio State off rip. That's tough. They have that. But then they go Rutgers, then they got a bye week. Nice. So I only see 2 losses there for a measly 4-8 Maryland team last year. Out of the bye, they get Illinois, tough. Purdue, Wisconsin, just as 2 games that they could easily win. USC, tough. And then Penn State, meh. So actually, I had Maryland as my number 3 winner out of the Big Ten. I think that they have a very doable schedule to get over 500, get to the bowl.
All right, there you have it. Do you want to go with your second team to make sure I don't steal it from you?
Mine's Penn State.
Yours Penn State?
Mine's Penn State.
Really? Okay. Why are they number 2 and not number 1? Let's hear it.
So Penn State Nittany Lions, they got, let's see if I get my right one. Ohio Bobcats. That's pretty easy. It's not even OSU. So, good start. That's the Bowling Green Falcons. Why? They're playing all the Ohio teams right now. Pretty easy. North Dakota Fighting Hawks. No.
I know.
Meh. Michigan State, Maryland, easy. Indiana, that's tough.
For sure.
I mean, they're going to be ranked number 1 probably in the AP poll. So, but they go Indiana, Oregon, but then they get a bye. So they go through a 2-week schedule and they go, okay, great, we're good. Then they go Washington, Illinois, tough, but at least Washington, it's like Damon Williams, will he play? I don't know. Then they go Rutgers, Ohio State, Iowa. So in the back half, the last 2 games, struggle.
This is Penn State?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a struggle, but if you're Matt Campbell, I don't think you could ask for anything better.
Are you sure you got the right Penn State schedule?
I may have not have.
I think they got the easiest
No,
schedule.
I didn't. I got Nebraska's. Oh no. Oh well. That's unfortunate.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make my case why I think Penn State. You know what? Let's save that for later. I'm actually gonna talk about.
now, though.
I'm gonna. Yeah, that does because
That makes
Penn
a lot
State
more
has the
sense.
easiest schedule.
I had Wisconsin.
Okay. I have my number 2 as the Washington Huskies. What's really important to know about Washington as a number 2 winner in the schedule is poll is because of where they are. They're on the West Coast and because of how Big Ten scheduling works in football. They play USC and Oregon. All the West Coast teams play each other. But what's really important is they start at home against Washington State. Then they play home against Utah State. Then they play home against Eastern Washington. Then they play home against Minnesota. 4 home games in a row. Then they're prepared for their first away game for Big Ten game, but it is at USC. That means they're staying on the West Coast for one of their harder games.
I have it.
Have what?
The schedule. I just looked at the wrong sheet.
Oh, very nice. So, and then they play Iowa at home. Iowa, which I think will be a pretty difficult team to beat. They get at home all the way on the West Coast. Then they play at Purdue. Easy game to have away. Then you have a bye. Then you go at Nebraska. Probably going to be an easier game to play away. You get Penn State at home. Whether they're good or bad, I think Washington can win this game because they were ranked just 2 out of the AP poll. I think they were ranked 27th based on votes, and it was just a handful of votes at the very end of the year. And then they go to Michigan State, new head coach, probably not looking very good. They get Indiana at home, and then the only other difficult game they have in the Big Ten on the road is in Oregon. So their hardest Big Ten games that are on the road are at USC and at Oregon, which is huge because they're already on the West Coast. They're staying at the same timeline. They kind of have difficult, playing East. And honestly, their harder games are probably going to be Indiana at home, Oregon away, USC away. I could totally see this team easily getting 8 wins. Now, I know their whole quarterback situation is a little bit sticky, but I don't see why they couldn't make a decent run in the Big Ten with this nice schedule. So that's why I think Washington has the second best schedule poll in the Big Ten.
Now I just feel stupid.
Wow, you were pretty silly for that.
And you let me do that.
Everyone should make fun. Well, I didn't quite understand.
You let me do that.
What was going on? I should have looked at it myself.
I had it.
I'm sorry.
Well, now I just feel dumb.
Do you want to talk about Wisconsin, or should we just move on to my number 1?
We already talked about Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wow. The way she goes.
Wow, this is really sad. All these things happen.
All right, go ahead.
Don't worry. So one of us was prepared.
One of us was prepared. Wasn't me.
And now I'll tell you.
Wasn't me.
Why Penn State has been gifted a schedule from the gods. And like some people have said, any head coach would have taken this job looking at the schedule. This is the Penn State Nittany Lions actual schedule. Home against Marshall. Easy win, hopefully, for any Power 4. Temple away. Buffalo at home. Wisconsin at home. Looking really good. You have Northwestern away, although we'll get to Northwestern's schedule later. That will be both first kind of test, but most Penn State teams, even that Iowa State team, probably could have beat them. Mm-hmm. And we know Penn State's basically the Penn State Cyclones, so we're good. Then they have their 2 most difficult games back-to-back. They play USC at home and then Michigan away. Even if they split these games, you get USC at home, so that helps a lot. You get Michigan away, who could be good, and once again, they have a new head coach. They could just still be wallowing in their own, troubles of their past still haunting them. So you get those 2 games, then you get a bye in the middle of the season, which is nice. You get Purdue at home, easy win. You go to Washington. That's a sneaky, difficult game to go to Washington, especially if Washington's kind of hot. But even still, at this point, you could be sitting here with 1 loss. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
And then you finish out the season with Minnesota, Rutgers, and at Maryland. For all intents and purposes, you miss Oregon, you miss Indiana, you miss Ohio State.
You can't complain.
This is a golden schedule. You got Michigan and USC. You get USC at home. You don't even have to travel to the West Coast. So I think they're easily the biggest schedule winner. I think their floor at this point, this is looking like 7-win floor easily. The only games I think any past Penn State team which I think they may not be as good or they could be better. Who really knows? Any past Penn State team, if they don't get 9 wins, something went horribly wrong.
Agreed.
And so Matt Campbell in the first year, getting 8 wins even, is just a massive success. And later I'm going to compare the schedule to some of the more difficult schedules, and we'll just see how ludicrous it is that they have I'm going to call an 8-win floor. And honestly, I would say they have about an 11-win ceiling. I don't think they'll win both USC and Michigan, but there is really no reason why they can't win 11 of these games, even just with a souped-up Iowa State roster.
For sure.
So that's why I think Penn State, number 1 lottery winner for sure. They are going to have probably a nice bounce-back year if only James Franklin were still around.
Yeah, James Franklin's probably kicking himself in the pants now.
Oh.
But granted, he didn't have a choice.
Wasn't his fault. According to
tough.
you, Virginia Tech's pretty workable as well.
Virginia Tech is quite workable.
Okay.
I don't think it's as workable as Penn State.
Yeah.
Penn State has got lucky. But I do think Virginia Tech's going to be just fine as well with James Franklin at the helm.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
So for me, I had Wisconsin, Washington, and Penn State as my 3 Big Ten winners of the schedule this year.
We're just going to skip my big 3 because I'm all flipped around. But you know what now? While Matthew was absolutely doing a great job there,
Thank you.
I am a little bit more prepared now. Got my papers. I have way too many papers for this. But now I'm a little more prepared for the 3 most difficult schedules.
Oh, I'm ready as well.
So,
I think we're going to have a lot of overlap here, so we'll see
Really?
where you start. I think so.
number 3, I have Nebraska.
I think they're pretty obvious. Okay, I don't have Nebraska, so you can continue on.
So, you know that schedule I read out the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the schedule of Nebraska, and
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense now.
I was going to say that sounds like a difficult schedule when
It
you were
was a
talking about
difficult
it.
schedule.
Okay.
So here's Nebraska's schedule. Ohio Bobcats, Bowling Green Falcons. Fine.
Okay, fine.
North Dakota Fighting Hawks.
Yep.
Fine.
Another bird.
Michigan State Spartans. Now this is Nebraska we're talking about. Okay? So that's losable game. Maryland. Meh.
Should be fine.
Then they go Indiana, Oregon. Tough. Then they get a bye out of that, which is fine. That's good. They needed that because this last half is brutal. And that makes sense a lot more when I was saying it. Washington, difficult. And that's at home, luckily. Illinois, difficult. Rutgers, there's your reprieve right there. Ohio State, Iowa.
Wow.
They're going to go 1-4 those last 5 games after the bye. That is difficult, and I would not want to be them in that situation.
That is for sure a rough stretch.
That's tough.
I'd agree 100%.
That's tough. Who'd you have?
My number 3 was Michigan. Did you have them in your
I did not
top
have
3?
them.
Really?
in there.
Okay, I think Michigan has a really tough schedule pull here. They start with this is why I think Michigan has the 3rd worst schedule in this crazy lottery. They start with Western Michigan at home. Fine game. Then they go play Oklahoma at home, but that's a tough out-of-conference game to be starting with.
Tough.
Then you play UTEP, kind of take a break. Then you get Iowa at home still. So you
Alright,
start with 4
okay.
home games, but you're playing Iowa.
Okay.
Then you go to Minnesota, and you have a bye week. Then the second half of the schedule kind of picks up. You get Penn State at home. Still not that bad. Could be hard, could be easy. You get Indiana at home. Now I'm starting to wonder if I have these home and away quite squared away, in which case they would have a ton of home games. These schedules are new. We've been having technical difficulties. But they get Indiana at home. It still doesn't matter. They go to Rutgers. They get Michigan State. And then they end with Oregon away, UCLA at home, and then Ohio State away. I think what really sucks about this schedule is your last 3 games of the year, your last 3 weeks, you're going to Autzen Stadium, and then you're going to Ohio State. And those just look like really damaged. They're both conference games. If you have any losses going into those 2 games,
Sure, you're out.
they're pretty much must win, or else you lose both those games and you're out of Big Ten picture. You're likely out of playoff picture or close, which means you have to win Oklahoma and Penn State and Indiana going into this. And I'm pretty sure some of those are more away
be
games.
able to do that.
Yeah, so they are
Nah,
hitting.
they kind of got screwed there.
They hit Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana,
That's
and
tough.
Penn State all on their schedule, including an out of conference with Oklahoma.
That's tough.
So that is definitely a rough draw. That's why I have Michigan as my 3rd worst Big Ten schedule lottery pool.
Yeah, that's tough. You got number 2 or you want me?
I could go.
Okay, go ahead.
My number 2 is Northwestern.
That's who I had too.
All right. And what was my number 1?
Ohio State.
Okay. So we both have Northwestern and Ohio State as number 2 and number 1. I say we argue real quick. I had Ohio State as number 1.
I did as well.
Oh, and you had Northwestern as number 2?
No, Northwestern was number 2.
Okay. So I'll take it away here.
Go ahead.
The poor Big Ten took someone to sacrifice, just draw their arrow and shoot them through the heart. Oh, my goodness. This schedule for Northwestern fans, I feel so bad because you guys were doing so well last year, and I really was looking up to their team. I won't say they're like pulling in Indiana, but oh, my goodness, they're doing better. And they had so much hope and faith and life in their eyes until they were dropped with South Dakota State at home. Not the problem. Bye week. Here's the problem.
Week 2 bye.
Why are we having a week 2 bye?
I don't know.
They didn't even play week 0. They played one game in week 1. They have a bye. That means they play 11 straight games. This is not randomized. Someone had to have drawn up this schedule, signed off on this, and said, this is okay. You'd think the bye itself would be enough to make this an atrocious schedule. You're right.
It does.
But you know what would be worse? Having Indiana, Penn State, Oregon, Iowa, and Ohio State on your schedule. All who...
And Illinois.
Illinois at the end. By the way, Illinois is ranked 2 votes behind being ranked in the final AP poll this year. This is basically like 7 ranked teams. It's just so... By the way, Indiana's away, and Indiana... Curt Cignetti hasn't lost at home yet. They have Oregon away in Autzen Stadium, and you have Ohio State away. I'm looking at this genuinely, and I think they have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses that are already like if they go 8-4, I will be impressed. I will be very impressed, especially considering this is Northwestern. Oh, if they go 4-8, I'll be impressed. No. I believe in them to get 4-8. They got to beat South Dakota State, Colorado, Ball State, and Minnesota to be 4-8.
I'll be happy if they go 4-8.
Really? I guess they are Northwestern.
It's Northwestern.
Honestly, it's a miracle if they make it to a bowl game.
Colorado, that's still a difficult game. Michigan State, still a difficult game. Minnesota wasn't a slouch, exactly.
You're at Minnesota. Yeah.
Rutgers, sure. They could beat Rutgers, Ball State, South Dakota State. They could get 3 wins, for sure.
It's just so sad you have those such top opponents really there at the end.
It's so sad.
And so Northwestern Wildcats, someone send a prayer out to them.
They're
so in need of it. And that's,
how could they do this to you?
And then that's why I have them as my number 2 worst schedule. Somehow not as bad as number 1. So, Josh, why don't you talk about this?
Number 1, worst schedule. I would argue the worst schedule in all of college football for this season. The Ohio State Buckeyes, which hurts my soul. Which some would say this could be a little bit more of karma from last year. But they got Ball State, good tune-up game.
Yeah.
Texas. And as I say, Texas is ranked pretty high. I think they're going to be pretty good. Nothing to reprieve, Kent State. But then they go Illinois, Iowa, and that's at Iowa. That's tough. Maryland, fine. At Indiana, bye week. Already, we could have 1, 2, 3 possible losses.
Totally. Easily.
Absolutely. Then you go at USC, tough. Home against Oregon. Oregon's probably one of the hottest teams right now. Then you get Northwestern, fine. Nebraska, fine. And then you got Michigan, which we seem to have a curse on. That is a monstrosity of a schedule.
Yeah, when I look at the schedule, the way I describe it is we play Texas, Iowa, Indiana, and USC all before November. By the way, those are all away games. We're at Texas, at Iowa, at Indiana, at USC. This is all before November. We could easily have 4 losses heading into November. People are going to be calling for Ryan Day's job. Bad idea. But people would do it if we had 4, even 3 losses.
Even 3 losses.
By the way, not including those games, we still have Illinois at home, which was, ranked 26 this year. We have Oregon at home, and then we have Michigan at home. All, very difficult teams. Anything can happen against Michigan. I think Oregon's getting better every year, and they're going to be a huge problem.
Oregon's going to be a scary team.
This is a rough schedule. I think we're the only team that are playing like 6 teams that were, in the CFP or something like that, or the CFP top 25, some ridiculous metric. Hearts go out to Northwestern. Hearts go out to us Buckeye fans. I hope we can embrace the challenge and do well. But I agree. That's why I have
so bad.
Ohio State is the worst Big Ten schedule poll. It's really, really concerning.
Who makes these schedules?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it in a bit. that wraps up our schedule segment about just the Big Ten schedules. I don't know who makes them. So do you think maybe they were like, maybe let's give Penn State an easy schedule because we want Penn State fans to stay engaged or something?
There's got to be a motivation or something like that to give them to go, oh, we want the blue bloods of Big Ten to go, yeah, we're still around. We can still do something.
And then somehow they hit Ohio State with the karma hammer of, well, everyone was saying we played a nothing schedule just because, we made them look like nothing when we played them. But
we were the most boring team to watch last year. And by gosh, we're going to be the most exciting team to watch this year.
Yeah.
Great. It is brutal.
As a viewer, I'm really excited. But, I mean, here's actually the exercise I was going to do with this.
Go ahead.
This could be so clippable. Let's look at our best schedule and our worst schedule.
Okay.
And let's just switch the teams.
Sure.
Full stop, full transparency. Joel Klatt did this. I think it was a great exercise, and I think it was super hilarious. Let's imagine Penn State, with a new head coach, got the Ohio State Buckeyes schedule.
Yeah.
And obviously, where we didn't play Penn State, so there's no overlap. So let's just say right now, Penn State with their schedule, I said they have a floor of about 8 wins. And 8 wins with the new head coach is a massive success.
Sure.
Even 9 wins, I think they're going to get 9 wins. If they were at Ohio State's schedule, they're probably beating Ball State, losing to Texas, beating Kent State, losing to Illinois, losing to Iowa, beating Maryland, losing Indiana, losing to USC, losing to Oregon. Northwestern's beat down, so they beat them. We'll let them beat Nebraska, and they lose to Michigan. And honestly, all those ranked games, I feel like wouldn't even be that close.
I don't think they'd be close.
So all of a sudden, you go from a Penn State who has a floor of 8 wins to if they got 8 wins, like
they're ecstatic.
I would be shocked. I think their floor
ecstatic
with Ohio State's schedule is 3 wins, 3 or 4. It's actually ridiculous, mind you. If Ohio State had Penn State's schedule, the only 2 actual games were USC and Michigan. I would say if the Buckeyes didn't go 11-1 with the schedule, something went incredibly wrong.
I would be even closer to 12-0.
Yeah, I think most likely is 12-0, and I think if we went 10-2, something would have been incredibly wrong. Meanwhile, if we go 10-2 with our actual Buckeye schedule,
we're in.
Not only are we in, I'm really happy with our performance. That means the most heartbreaking 2 losses would be we lost to Michigan and Oregon at the end of the season, but that still means we went to Texas, Iowa, Indiana, and USC and beat them in their own building.
Correct.
And beat Illinois. And I think
for sure.
Worst case scenario is we lose to like Michigan and Oregon.
Yeah.
Or Michigan and Texas. So I would still be super happy with that. Anyways, that just shows how incredibly deranged the system is. I liked how people mentioned we should use parity, maybe introduce parity through scheduling.
Has there been a 3-loss team get into the playoffs?
No, never has been. Texas really lobbied hard to be.
Could that be the schedule to do it?
I think
you lose to Oregon, you lose to Indiana.
You lose to Texas early, who's going to be preseason ranked like 2.
You lose to Texas.
You lose to Indiana, who might have, 23 wins in a row at this point.
You lose to Oregon.
You lose to Oregon. I think even losing at USC would be acceptable. Even Iowa, if they're doing good. If they're not, it's not. But I think we could totally. That still means you beat Illinois, you beat Iowa at Iowa, you beat USC at USC, and you beat Michigan.
Would that not be a recipe for getting a 3? Of all teams, I understand. Let's be clear. There's bias towards blue bloods.
For sure.
Of all teams, Ohio State getting in with three losses kind of would fit the bill.
I would think so, but then again, Texas technically had 3. Were they top 5 or
blue bloods?
Top 10 wins? I think I have to say yes. They were the best. I mean, blue blood. It depends how we're defining blue blood. How deep we're going.
Relevant.
They have a huge fan base.
15 years.
They pull in a lot of TV ratings. The media loves them.
Since Steve, sure.
ESPN loves them. ESPN kind of does this whole ranking thing. I think they had a pretty good shot of making it with their 3 losses.
Oh, wow.
If things shook out differently,
no way.
Totally. Miami has 1 more loss, and Notre Dame has 1 more loss. I think Texas was in. I don't see why not.
I don't think it. I think it would have been either Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State.
Actually, if Texas just dominated against Mississippi State and Kentucky, I think they would have been two
You think
CFP spots higher. Yeah, they were dropping while they're winning because of how bad they looked while they were winning.
Oh, they looked bad.
And their offense looked terrible.
They looked bad.
If they just dominated in their other games they didn't lose, I think they
Sure.
They also did lose to one of their 3 losses was to Florida,
Yes.
who was kind of a train wreck.
Florida
So
was
if one
bad.
of their losses was a better loss and they actually took care of the games they won, I think they were ranked pretty high at the end of the year. I think they totally could have been in.
I think if it was Alabama in that position, though, they would have put in Alabama.
I don't know. We'll never know. We're not the SEC. We're not doing hypotheticals here.
No, we are
Actually,
not the SEC.
We live off hypotheticals. This is a college football show. All right.
Next segment. Here we go. We got the transfer portal. The transfer portal just ended. Some key notes. There's only one transfer portal this year. It is right now. It was just recently, right?
Yep.
And I think we're going to talk about the winners and losers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who you got?
I have teams, winners, and losers.
And I have players transferring. So this is good. We got a nice little mix.
This is mostly analytical, and thanks to everyone at On3 who I think put together the best portal rankings here. What I really like is they show you how many people are in and out. They tell you how many 5, 4, and 3 stars are in and out. They give an average rating for the player coming in and player leaving. And I think that's what is really important when you're looking at transfer portal stuff.
Okay.
So, top 3 teams I have that were winning the transfer portal. Number 1 is actually Indiana.
Okay.
They got 17 guys coming in. They got 10 guys going out. What's really interesting here is their guys coming in have an average of 77,
Sweet.
an average of 77, and their guys coming out have an average of 63. That means they're gaining 3 4 stars, losing none, gaining 14 3 stars, and losing 10 3 stars. So all 10 of their guys leaving were 3 stars. They're looking really good additions. I know they lost a lot of guys, but it still looked like the transfer portal's going in. As far as just the transfer portal,
Yes.
this doesn't really count outside of
No.
players leaving. LSU, everyone knew they were going to do well. They have 40 in and 33 out. That's a lot of churn. Ooh. I would be really concerned, except this is Lane Kiffin, and he's pulling lots of strings, and he's bringing in a lot of Ole Miss guys, and the culture is still going to stay in because a lot of guys are coming from the same place, so you kind of instill that culture with your Ole Miss guys, which is helpful. The other thing is the average player coming in is around a 74, which is really high, but the average player leaving is a 71. Which means they gained a 5-star, they gained 7 4-stars and lost 1 4-star, and then they were even gaining and losing 32 3-stars. So they're losing high-level player.
Holy crap.
They're gaining even more higher-level players, though. And so that's why, as far as the transfer portal go, they kind of killed it. And then finally, number 3 is Texas Tech. This is no surprise. They have a ton of money. They had 21 guys in and out. Okay. Their guys in were a 72.4. Their guys out were a 64.3.
All right,
so
nice, solid.
That's a solid upgrade and better than most teams up there. So those were teams that I had that were doing well. So those are teams that are beating the transfer portal.
With the transfer portal, how much money are they shelling out for all this stuff?
So there are not really allowed to be numbers, or I don't know how to find the numbers.
Do you have a guesstimate?
There's kind of an NIL plus minus. So Indiana's spending $2.8 million more than they were last year. LSU spending $7.7 million more, I believe, is what this means. And Texas Tech spending $3.5 million more. So
I thought Texas Tech would be higher.
Yeah.
They got that oil money.
I don't know. This is just more than what they were, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So it might just, their baseline's already really high.
Sure.
All right.
Heated teams. I'm going to talk about players who probably won.
Okay.
A little bit more. And the first one I want to talk about is pretty obvious. Josh Hoover, TCU to Indiana. He could not ask for any better portal system to go to. Right now, Chris Signetti's proven as much as you can in 2 years that he can make stuff happen. So with Josh Hoover behind the helm, give him a little. He's got experience. He's got time. He threw for 9,600 yards, about 71 touchdowns in his career at TCU. He knows how to throw the rock, which Fernando Mendoza did, but I don't think to this degree. So I'm thinking that he's going to do pretty well over there. I would say Sam Leavitt going from Arizona State to LSU with the Lane Kiffin system. I think he's going to do very well. I don't think you can ask for almost a better situation besides Josh Hoover to go from a Arizona State, sorry, Arizona State, you're not the greatest of teams, to an SEC powerhouse of LSU, with they're spending all the money they can to make the best team possible. So I think that's awesome. And then I would also say Rocco Beck. I don't know if you pronounce the T.
Not sure
Iowa
either.
State to Penn State. Following your coach. Following Matt Campbell. You got the cupcake of all cupcake schedules.
I'm pretty sure he has the most starts in college football as well as a quarterback. The
Oh,
most
my Lord.
quarterback starts.
He's been in primary. He was the starter since 2023. So 23, 24. Yeah, he's got a lot of starts on his belt, which is good. I think that's going to be so key for them. I think he's going to be important. He made stuff happen at Iowa State whenever they needed it. I think they got something good. I think they can get moving with the cupcake schedule. 10 wins, 11 wins, definitely on the table for them if they got Rocco at the lead. So I think those quarterbacks really got some effort there.
I would agree. If I were a quarterback right now, a transfer quarterback, the number one place I'd want to be is in Kurt Cignetti's hands.
Mm-hmm.
But if not him, Lane Kiffin's hands. Or I want to be the most experienced. I think all those are great situations to be in, and I agree 100%. Now I'm going to talk about the number one, the top portal losers. So, unfortunately, the portal losers are mostly just places where people just lost their coach.
Yeah.
And so it's sad to talk about, but it's going to make a lot of sense. We got the Iowa State Cyclones. A lot of those guys just kind of packed up, left, went to Penn State. They lost 54 guys, and then they gained 48. That is a ton of churn. But what's worse than that is the guy leaving were averaged about a 69, and the guys that are coming in are at about a 64. So not only do you have 50 players of churn, you also have a technically worse caliber player coming in.
Less talent, man.
Like they lost 7 4-stars and gained 1. That's just really gross, honestly. So Matt Campbell of the Penn State Cyclones, you know what? It's not their fault. They're just living in this college football world. They have to do what they have to do. That's how it works. The punishment for winning at Iowa State. Number 2 is Utah. We know their coach went to Michigan.
Rip.
They only lose 18, but they're only gaining 13, so not as much churn. But the guy they're losing is an average 70. The guy coming in is an average 64. So that's really painful for
6
them.
points.
For sure. And then somehow, with most of those guys going to Michigan, Michigan is still losing in the portal. They're losing 27. They're gaining 18. The guys they're losing are about a 71. The guys coming in are about a 68. Not doing great in the portal, but you know what? Their coach was fired too. You're finding a pattern here.
Nice.
4th worst team, Pitt. Their coach
Their
also
coach
fired.
also
Pat
fired.
Narduzzi. He's gone. They got 22 players gone, 16 coming in. The guys coming in are a 63. The guys going out are about a 67. And then finally, you know who else's coach was gone? Hugh Freeze, Auburn Tigers. They lost.
There's a correlation here.
They have a bit more churn. They have 36 guys leaving, 39 coming in. The guy leaving were a 73 average. That's really good.
Hey.
But somehow they're still pulling in about a 70 and a half. So they're not going to be quite so bad. So those are my top 5 or bottom 5 portal losers. Sucks to be them. Mostly it's just because their coaches are leaving them. That's just the landscape of college football.
Yeah.
What we have to deal with.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I spoke about quarterbacks. Now I'm just going to kind of speak to more of just in general players who I think can make a difference on teams that could do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Nick Marsh from Michigan State transferring to Indiana. He was a beast at Michigan State.
Yeah.
His stats doesn't say it. Let's make that clear. He had 59 catches for about 662 yards, but it was Michigan State. So the fact that he's putting up those numbers there, I am thoroughly impressed. Watching just some clips of him. He's dynamic. He's good. So I think with the combination of Josh Hoover and him, going to be really good. Cam Coleman going from Auburn to Texas, I think that was probably one of the biggest ones there. Besides the quarterbacks, besides all the coach churn. Cam Coleman, 42 passes, 5'11". Again, not flashy. But they weren't really flashy at Auburn in the first place. He is going to be a dominant force for Texas. And I think that this is going to really help him, really going to help Arch Manning too, and improve his numbers. The fact that he's got a big body to throw to. that's pretty quick off the break too. So I think Cam Coleman's going to do some damage. Some things that I noticed, Justice Haynes from Michigan, that originally transferred from Alabama to Michigan, transferring to Georgia Tech now. So I don't know probably the same thing with coaches being fired. Didn't like it there. Moving on. And then one thing I want to take, because defense, can't forget defense. Defense is winning championships out there. Coy Parrish, I don't know if that's right. He's from Minnesota, but probably one of the top defensive players in the league. He was a linebacker. He had 128 tackles, 6 interceptions for Minnesota in the last 2 years. He was a Big Ten best, 5 interceptions as a freshman. He also returned punts.
Wow.
Which is something.
I've heard of this guy, and if I'm hearing about a defensive player out of Minnesota, he must be a big deal.
He may not have been a linebacker at the time since he's got only 128 tackles in 2 seasons. He probably was a corner if you're returning punts.
Yeah.
But I know that I've heard the name, recognize the name. Again, this is a fan podcast. I'm not doing all the total research.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, hearing about someone from Minnesota, especially on the defense, they've got to be good.
He's got to be good. So he went to Oregon. So darn it, Oregon just continues just to get better, and I hate it.
They're looking really good. All right. This next thing I have here are 5 teams I'm a little bit unsure about in the transfer portal. They're more name brand teams. What are they doing? I'm not sure what to make about them. I don't know if they're winners or losers. I'm just a little bit confused. One of them is Notre Dame. They only have 5 guys coming in. They have 15 guys leaving. So they have a lot more guys leaving than coming in. The guys leaving at about a 70, but the guys coming in at a whopping 87.7 average rating.
Wow.
Incredibly high. So they're just going for absolute elite quality player, but not very many of them. Only 7 guys. That's probably how you get your average so high. So scraping the fat on the bottom and just adding to the top, it's
that's it.
really interesting to see how that will play out. So maybe they're just trusting in their recruiting.
Probably a good idea.
Texas has some high-end churn in both directions. They got 19 guys coming in at about a 76, but 23 guys leaving at about a 71. So more guys leaving than coming in. A lot of high-end churn going up and down. Usually it's a lot more risky to do things that way. A lot of people think they're killing it and doing it well. Very well could end up that way. So Alabama has more guys leaving than coming in. The guys leaving are at about a 70. The guys coming in are about a 68. So it sounds kind of like they're losers. But in the past, we've seen that Alabama's been really good at recruiting. They have those roots. They could just be leaning on the recruiting here, and that's likely what's happening. Similar situation at Georgia. They got more guys leaving than coming in. 14 guys leaving at a 72. 8 guys coming in at about a 69. But once again, they're probably just leaning on recruiting. They don't care a ton about the transfer portal since those numbers are relatively low.
Sure.
And then finally, Ohio State, they have 17 guys coming in at a 73, but they have 32 leaving at about a 71. So it's like Notre Dame, or it's like Texas with that high-end churn, but it's way more guys and a lot more guys leaving through the transfer portal. A lot of them actually were going to Notre Dame, probably contributing to their 87.7 average there.
No, I like 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And the Notre Dame Buckeyes. But, that's looking pretty.
That's how it is.
The net upgrade there, I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. It's interesting. We're losing a lot of guys to the draft. We're losing guys to the portal. But we have good recruits, so hopefully we're leading on those. And obviously our creme de la creme and Julian Sane and Jeremiah Smith to carry us through. But those are 5 teams, more name brand teams that I was just a little bit confused about and don't really know what to make of them. So
I got some facts about the transfer portal.
I'd love to hear those.
So for this year, 10,500 college football players entered the transfer portal across all divisions.
Wow.
For this year. There's 32 new head coaches, about 17 at the Power 4 level. 6,700 Division I players entered the transfer portal during this 15-day window.
Wow.
Which is honestly unheard of. Insane.
That's like hundreds of teams.
It's ridiculous. The price tag for the top returning quarterbacks moved from $3 million to $5 million.
Wow.
Supposedly. Obviously, numbers aren't public, but that's what they're guessing at right now.
Someone paid Brendan Sorsby $5 million. Yep. Continue.
And then I would say 39 FBS programs landed 20 or more transfers this season. Talk about parity amongst teams. You're moving players like nothing. I think that is insane.
I think it's crazy. I think at some point, I don't ever want it to become quite college basketball. For those who don't know, the odds of you staying at the same, it's kind of the same thing as football, but with 5 players, it's even worse. Like, they never stay at the same team ever at all. And you wonder, how do you keep an identity through it all? Is
so bad.
Becoming easily the hardest part of college football.
We're gonna hit a wall at some point. You're gonna hit a wall at some point.
The worst part, you can't even blame the players because this is
how the system is.
This is what I would do if I thought I was really good and then I played at Cal and then someone said, "Here's $4 million to play here."
Sold.
Yeah, okay, I would say yes. I'm not gonna act like I'm gonna carry Cal to the national championship. No, I'm gonna go play for Georgia or something.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is just how the state of college football is.
I don't know how it'd get fixed either, though.
Wow.
Salary caps for college teams? I don't know.
I think you'd have to set the salary cap pretty high, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because you still want those who have money to spend said money. Now, obviously, you can't spend it to an absolute ridiculous degree. But I do think it's important that those who have money, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Alabama, or Texas Tech, spend more money than Cal. Right?
I mean, yes, but also at some point, what if you just had like positional caps? No college student really needs $5 million.
No,
I guess that's what I'm getting to. I'm a college student.
That's true.
So maybe I'm just a little bit jealous.
That's true.
But maybe you put the cap at a point that it's like, you don't really need $5 million, or maybe it's better to limit them and then they'll just spend their NIL money elsewhere and get a linebacker $400,000 instead of $200,000.
Sure.
Because that's still a ton of money.
It's a lot of money.
Some of these schools, even though you're getting a full academic scholarship, but like just going to the school, it still costs some of these schools. It's like $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year even, which is ridiculous in itself and a whole nother problem. But the one thing that I think is interesting is how people are more reluctant to go to the NFL. I'm not sure if I like that for college football or not, because our best stars are fine sitting around. I'm going to get $5 million. Some of them are getting more than a lot of rookie contracts. So,
hey, I like quality talent staying in college. I'm a big fan of it.
I'm not sure how I'll feel once they're just a bunch of 24-year-old teams like our, like they say of Indiana. But
yes,
maybe that's just the future of college football.
Grown men playing college football.
Yeah.
Could be true.
Quite.
Could be true. All right.
All right. What do we have next?
Yeah, I got that next.
All right. Next up, we have this segment is all about top college football weekends. At some point, Josh and I have done this every year. We kind of sit down and look at the college football schedule, and we figure out what day are we specifically going to stop. We're going to slow down. We're going to put it in our calendars, and we're going to sit at home or at some bar and watch these games. Maybe play some dice in the morning. It's a wonderful time. Obviously, we do it for like rivalry weekends, so I didn't include that.
I didn't include that one either.
And that's always Thanksgiving. But, just some weekends to look out for. Maybe check your calendar to see if you have any weddings and, curse and be upset when you do have a wedding. Hopefully not. So, do you want to start? Or I have a couple honorable mentions.
Oh, if you got I did not do honorable mentions, so go ahead.
So, my honorable mentions were first, week 11. These didn't quite make my top 3. Maybe they made yours. But we have USC at Indiana. I think those are going to be really good teams, and that's going to have big implications. I've got Michigan at Oregon. Once again, top Big Ten matchup. And then Texas at LSU. These are just big games, and they're going to be big games because it's going to have massive playoff implications. Sure. And those later weeks just do that. And week 12, kind of the same way. Some top matchups there. Indiana at Washington, which Washington could be doing well by then. I talked about their schedule being pretty good. SMU at Notre Dame. One of Notre Dame's only, I think, 2 or 3 difficult games since Notre Dame only plays Miami, BYU, and SMU. So that's going to be really important for Notre Dame to win. And then Texas A&M at Oklahoma. I think they're both going to be on the bubble for the playoffs. And so that's going to be an important game in week 12. Basically a playoff game for a lot of these. That's why I have them as my audible mentions.
Sure. You want to start with number 3?
Yeah, I'll just keep going.
You keep on moving.
So, top weekends for college football. Number 3, I have week 4. And this got a little bit of extra bonus points because it was earlier in the year. But already in week 4, we're going to have some absolutely spectacular matchups. We're going to have Oklahoma at Georgia. We're going to have Oregon at USC. We're going to have Texas at Tennessee. We're going to have Texas A&M at LSU. These are all going to be huge games, mostly SEC games. Are you making sure you don't?
I'm double-checking my work.
Double-checking your statuses?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Josh had a mishap earlier in the show. If you missed it,
Learn.
happy for you.
Just learn.
But these are important. All right, back to this. Week 4 is important because Oklahoma at Georgia, once again, I think those teams will be on the bubble. They'll be early ranked high. Oregon at USC, I think, is massive because I think one of the teams on the West Coast, whoever wins this game between Oregon and USC, is going to be super important and super applicable to the Big Ten championship.
Sure.
I think one of those teams are probably going to be there. So the winner of this game is going to be absolutely massive. Texas at Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be a little bit better this year. I think Texas is going to be worse than what they're saying they're going to be. I think that this is going to be a great game as well. And then Texas A&M and LSU. This is LSU's real first test. Texas A&M has kind of proved they're up there. They belong to be up there. And we'll see how Lane Kiffin's monster of a team does against Texas A&M here. So that was my honorable mention.
Your number 3, you mean?
Or my number 3. Sorry.
My number 3 was November 14th.
Okay.
That was one of your honorable mentions. Like I said, LSU versus Texas. It's the first time meeting in Baton Rouge for Texas, going to Baton Rouge
Really?
to play them.
Wow.
Since like 1953. So I think that was pretty cool. Lane Kiffin versus Steve Sarkisian, always a blast. Two great offensive minds going at each other. Michigan versus Oregon. I think there's going to be Big Ten implications there that are going to either make or break seasons for them. I think that's very possible that they could come in with one loss, maybe 2, possibly. That I think there could be some tension there. Texas A&M versus Tennessee. Texas A&M last year got the cupcake schedule of SEC, right? So I want to see if they're still in contention, see if there's anything interesting there. Then the one thing that I was trying to look up to make sure, because everything else you said, I had Ole Miss Oklahoma play that game as well that weekend. And I think that's true. I didn't have Wi-Fi down here, so
I believe that's correct.
I couldn't check that. And I say that because, Oklahoma's good. They bring back John and Mateer. Ole Miss could be good. And I think that's why I'm putting up there, because I think there's a pretty high ceiling up there, that there's going to be a SEC matchup there that could be championship-worthy, playoff implication-worthy. And I think that's going to be an absolutely awesome time to watch. My number 2?
Yeah, let's hear it.
My number 2 is I got October 17th.
That was my number 2 as well.
I call this Judgment Day.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, Ohio State, Indiana, rematch, Big Ten championship, right? I think that would be a great one to start off with. I think that's going to obviously be noon. It's going to be good to go. Fox loves putting Ohio State at noon.
They do.
Michigan versus Penn State. Penn State, this is like one of their few tests here. I think they're going to come out with fire rocking. Michigan got Kyle Whittingham. Michigan's no slouches. They're always going to be decent. I think that's going to be awesome. Alabama versus Tennessee. Going to be great. I mean, Tennessee's got Alabama's number.
That game is so fun every year to watch.
It just seems like it's always like fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be awesome. Notre Dame versus BYU. Right?
Yep.
BYU. Now, I will say this. BYU sometimes struggles against in the bigger games. I'm hoping they finally turn around. They got their head coach to stay. They got their culture in place. I'm hoping they finally stay around.
Yeah. And a must-win game for Notre Dame.
Must-win games. Do you have any other games before I go on as well on that slate?
We have Arizona State, Texas Tech. So
We do.
In another game, we're going to have the Holy War, which is Utah and BYU. But Arizona State and Texas Tech, this is a pretty important game, and I think Texas Tech will probably win, but this is pretty important for the Big 12 championship race for sure. And then you still have your classic Texas-Florida, which is a big fumble for Texas last year. And Auburn-Georgia, because I think Auburn-Georgia could be better. I think Auburn could be better than last year, bringing in a new head coach. So I think all those games are going to be quite interesting.
There's Miami, Florida State there too.
Miami, Florida State.
USC, UCLA.
Yeah.
Classic.
West Coast matchup there.
there's good games there, and that's why I call it Judgment Day more because of the fact that Ohio State Indiana's got a rematch there, and I think that's going to be freaking awesome.
I think that winner of that game is going to get slingshotted towards a Big Ten championship for
Absolutely.
sure. Same
You
thing
have
with
so much momentum.
USC Oregon game, Ohio State Indiana game.
Mm-hmm.
But what
Number
I think
one.
we both have as our number 1 week in college football, Week 10, November 7th. If you have plans this day, if you have a wedding,
go.
if you have something
Let's
going
go.
on this day, I hope you don't. And right now, you should mark it down in your schedule. Right now, you need to be
Super Saturday,
sitting in
baby.
someone's basement, or you got to be at a bar. You got to be watching this game. You got to cancel plans for this game.
Super Saturday. Here
So
we go.
it doesn't have quite the peak moments that Week 7 has, but boy, is it going to get interesting. We're going to know what Oregon and Ohio State are like. I think they're both going to be competitive, and this is a big Big Ten playoff eliminator. We have Miami Notre Dame. This is easily Miami's biggest test. This is Notre Dame's biggest test. Notre Dame is going to come back with a vengeance after what happened last year, how they missed the playoff. Miami made it to second. This is going to be circled on both teams' schedule to play this game. We have Georgia Ole Miss, which was an incredible game last year. I don't see why it's going to be much different, even with Ole Miss having a new head coach. I don't think Georgia's going to go anywhere. I think this will be a great game. Alabama at LSU in Death Valley.
Let's go.
I think at this point, likely LSU is still looking like a really good contender, especially with all the people they've brought in.
True.
And I've said before, I think Alabama might be a little underrated down in the 20s because they're a perennially really good program. I think that'll be an incredible game. We have Penn State at Washington. Penn State could have one loss at this point. I don't see why they don't have to have more than one loss at this point, which would make this a massive game. They would be ranked. Washington, once again, in my easiest schedules. These both have easy schedules. So this is where they collide. So I think that'll be super interesting. We have the Holy War. I love the Holy War. Last year, it was an incredible game. This year, we have BYU at Utah. I think it's going to have massive Big 12 implications.
Sure.
I think the winner of this game is probably also in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
We have Texas at Missouri. If Missouri is good, could be interesting. If Texas is bad, could be interesting.
I saw a stat. Missouri's got one of the most wins within like the last 4 years. Something like that. They're like top 3 or something.
I think Missouri's sneaky good every year. Some people think there's time has passed them up. Maybe not. We have Oklahoma at Florida. Maybe Florida with their new head coach kind of turns it around and makes this a fun game. And we have Michigan State at Michigan. Michigan State could be really bad. But I think with the new head coach, maybe they make some turnaround, be at least a little bit better than they were, just enough to get that rivalry magic, to give you a shot at beating your rival.
Pump block.
You just need anything.
Pump block.
If anyone knows that, Michigan fans know that because of their past experiences with Michigan State and also their experiences with Ohio State, unfortunately. Also, this is all in Week 10, so we're going to have college football playoff rankings coming out.
It's going to be great.
It's going to materialize a lot more. It's just the first week of November. I am so excited for this weekend. So if you have plans, you need to call in sick. You need to fake something, crash your car so you can stay home. November 7th, college football is the place to be. So,
dude, I'm seeing like a ton of back end football schedules being loaded. And I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly when you're playing your conference games.
I love it.
With these super conferences now, it kind of makes sense.
SEC's playing 9 games?
Yes. Is that happening this year?
Think
I
so.
I can find out later.
I think so. And that's good. Then they don't have that cheesy G5 school.
Yeah, they play like rice at the
if you're
week
playing
11.
food, week 11.
Yeah.
Not good.
What are you doing?
Not good.
I wish there was another college football team named after food. Comment down below if you think of even a stretch. I would love to.
That'd be funny.
Call another football team food.
That'd be funny. All right. We had some people comment on our last YouTube video.
That's right. We're starting bold predictions with our first entries from other contestants.
Go ahead.
And I say contestants, they're really fans. I'll read them verbatim.
Go ahead. Yes, please.
So from at Bretzel. Do you cover the NFL draft? I have a hot take. Arvell Reese is overrated. Mel Kiper has him going as the second pick, and I'm thinking second round. The last second pick linebacker was Von Miller, who had a crazy college resume. Will Anderson Jr. went third pick with crazy production. Reese played 1.5 seasons and didn't get a single forced fumble or interception. I went back 3 years to some college stats, and Edrin Cooper of Texas
Oh,
A&M
yeah.
had better stats in every category. He was picked 45, by the way. I think Reese will go in round 2, or whoever picked him this year picks him early would have wished they waited.
Wow, clearly Bretzel's not an Ohio State fan.
Yeah. So, fun fact, we do know this person. They are an Ohio State fan. They're putting their bias aside in a radical way to say Arvell
That is
Reese,
radical.
does not deserve or is not worthy of being in the first round. So I'll let you talk a bit on this, Josh. What do you think?
I'm with the state of the NFL and how consistent everybody's the top tier, right? When you're going to the NFL, you got to be good, but you need to find those gems in it, and you got to find them properly. Now, I'm not saying that he's good enough. I'm not going to say he's good enough or not good enough in that sense. But Arvell Reese's ability and upside is so freaking monstrous. It's hard to teach athleticism. Put it that way.
Right.
It is so hard to teach athleticism. And he's got it all. Now, whether his brain can comprehend, keep up, or brain make his body do the things that he could do, that he's proven that he could do consistently, sure, that's an argument that you can make. And playing only one season, being behind the best linebackers in the nation last year, right, with Cody Simon.
Yeah.
He never really got the chance. So maybe he needed another year to get those interceptions or forced fumbles. But he was a force off the edge for sacks. He was making big plays after big plays, tackles-wise. He was everywhere. Now, he does struggle in the coverage a little bit more. And I can see where now when quarterbacks were throwing at him in his area, it was like an 80% completion rate. It was pretty high. So I can see how that could be a little bit more of a struggle. But the upside is ridiculous on Arvell Reese.
So I would agree with you. He's got an insane physical stature. I think what you really just have to look at here is you look at the best defense in college football. Who was that? Arguably Ohio State, based on all the metrics.
Defensive
Even
team?
though just defense, best defense
Ohio
in
State.
college football last year, based on the metrics and everything. And then you know what? If you need a linebacker, you're going to go to the linebacker on the best defensive team, or at least that's got to be way up there. And he was the best linebacker on the team.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about defenses is, you can have a lockdown secondary, which is really good, and you can have lockdown D linemen. They always talk about it. They don't talk about linebackers, but if you've ever played football, which we have, linebackers, they're just as important. They kind of help the more all around. They're not going to shut down someone's passing game completely. They're not going to shut down someone's run game completely.
Sure.
But what they do is make an incredible all-around defense. And Ohio State was kind of an incredible all-around defense. This is why I've seen a ton of people in their mock drafts not only pick Arvell Reese, they're picking 2 Ohio State linebackers in the first round and about 3 overall. In a lot of them, I think Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are going in the first round.
For sure.
So your bold take is basically he's going to go in the second round. So I got to rank this. And considering I'm seeing 2 Ohio State linebackers alone going in every first round, sometimes draft days do weird things. People learn things and weird things happen.
Sanders.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got to give this. I'm going to give this a 5.5 on the boldness scale that he goes to the second round.
I was going to give it a 6.
Okay.
I think that's insane. So I was looking at through drafting and everything and through the first couple, and obviously the first one is Las Vegas. The Raiders need a quarterback badly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be Fernando Mendoza. No problem.
Of course.
The Jets, there's not really another quarterback in this draft that you can really point fingers to and go, you're obviously number 2. Thank you, Dante Moore, for going back to Oregon.
Especially if anyone's looking at next year at the quarterback pool, it is looking really tasty for teams, by the way.
Right. So Jets are going like next person off board. And it's just, you can make an argument that I would say they have a lot more offensive weapons. They need a little more defense. So you can go Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles. You can make an argument for Reuben Bain Jr. He was an absolute monster of an edge for Miami. Or David Bailey, Texas Tech. He was also a monster.
I see a lot of people in comment sections saying that, yes.
He was great. I like Alex Rodriguez from Texas Tech, linebacker. He had a great Senior Bowl this last week. He was phenomenal, and they were calling Texas Tech fans were calling for him Heisman worthy.
Yeah.
So he's good too. So I can see why you'd be like, what has Arvell Reese done compared to Alex Rodriguez? I get it. But Reese is so freaking athletic.
I know. The dude's just a beast, and a lot of NFL teams kind of salivate at that. As a Bengals fan, that's something we were preyed on last year. We drafted that one dude.
Who was it? Not Miles Murphy.
His defensive player. He was really bad.
Oh, was it Miles Murphy?
He had no sacks,
No.
but we're like, oh, we're going to cultivate him. He's a freak athlete, and he's going to do great
That's
for the
gonna let
Bengals.
He
And
didn't play all season.
you know
so
what
I
he
don't
did?
know him.
Yeah, he stunk. He was bad. He didn't even play. I guess he got hurt. That's another place he's weak. All in all, maybe you shouldn't draft in the NFL just based purely off athleticism.
Shamar Stewart.
Oh, my gosh.
Texas A&M.
Dirty taste in my mouth after that.
Yeah, gross.
But
Hey, Demetrius Nice was the second-round pick for the Bengals, and he played all year.
it's good for him.
Wasn't really that good, though.
But funny things happen in drafts, so
True.
there you go. Boldness rating of 5.75. It'll go down on our spreadsheet. We'll see what happens on draft day. That's our first bold prediction
That's our
coming
first
up.
bold prediction coming
So
up.
we'll
We'll
react-
be interested. We'll keep note.
We'll react to it. We'll see what happens, and I
We'll
can't wait
keep
to
note.
see how it plays out.
Go ahead.
We had another one from another person we know, one of our friends, but
Thank you.
we appreciate that. And he says, by the way, this is relevant. He is a University of Cincinnati fan.
Very relevant.
Here we go. Hot take. The Brendan Sorsby investment flops for Texas Tech, and Kansas's experienced transfers win them the Big 12, getting a bid to the CFP. What I find interesting about this...
Double.
Yes. So I think it's hard to quantify Sorsby flopping, but I think the bold take's going to be Kansas making not only winning the Big 12 and getting a bid. So I guess this is Kansas is winning the Big 12.
Dylan Water got our 230, whatever it is.
9305.
If you would like to quantify what Sorsby's flopping would be,
We will talk about that.
We'll take that.
You give us some stats or some metrics, we'll definitely react. When I see this initially, I think of 3.5 teams that win the Big 12, and it's Texas Tech for sure is really up there. And then I think, like I said earlier, Holy War, Utah, or BYU, whoever's winning that is well on their way. So that's 3 teams, and I think Arizona State's because they've done it. They're keeping their coach. They're getting decent transfers and recruitment in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they're kind of in position. I don't really think of Kansas. So I think this is really interesting. What do you think?
I actually don't mind it.
Oh.
I think Texas... Sure, Kansas could win the Big 12. I don't think that's going to happen. Sure, it could, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Texas Tech actually got a pretty good quarterback at hand. So let's go through the stats real quick.
Sure.
And just go. We can go. What's happening here? He threw for 27 touchdowns, 2,800 passing yards, and rushed for about 9 more on 580 for 2025. Dual threat instantly.
Yeah.
And I would say dual threat clearly is the choice for all college football teams. Dual threat's better. You got more options. For all of this, though, in the last 2 seasons, 45 touchdowns and about 12 interceptions. 3.75 touchdowns to 1 interception. Dang good.
It's pretty good.
Dang good.
Especially playing for Satterfield. Pretty good. UC's head coach.
Dang
If you didn't
good.
know.
And I just, Texas Tech likes to score. They like to throw the ball. They like to move. So I think Brendan Sorsby kind of fits it. Now, is he $5 million worthy? No. No UC quarterback is worth that much.
Wow. Not even Desmond Ritter. Legend Desmond Ritter.
What a legend. No.
Not even Travis Kelce, who was kind of a quarterback. He went in as a quarterback.
Crazy. No one's worth $5 million out of UC.
Okay.
That's just not it.
Wow. That's hurt. That's painful.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's true. But will they be good? Yeah, I think they'll actually be pretty decent. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, my ending thoughts here are that Sorsby, he could flop, but he doesn't even have to be elite. He just has to game manage, honestly, and maybe he's not even available to do that, but he doesn't have to be outstanding. Texas Tech is spending $1 billion on people left and right just to dominate in the Big 12, as much as most Big 10 and SEC teams.
Sure.
So I think he just has to be okay, and I think Texas Tech will thrive. Now, if he really screws it up, like DJ Lagway style,
Ooh.
then okay. You know what? I'll go back and give him his kudos. I'll make sure to write it in the notes. He said Sorsby is flopping, and we'll include that. But
Numbers.
for the most
Dylan.
part, Sorsby flopping would be really hard to see because the team around him is just so much better than UC's team.
It's so much better.
So
It's hard to beat talent.
So with that, though, the bold prediction was Kansas's experienced transfers win them the Big 12. Now, I didn't look up their odds. I've got to imagine they're about 6th, maybe 7th. Kansas has been good before, but I think even just off the top of my head, I think Kansas State's better. I think UC was even better last year.
Meh.
I'm not even sure if they're in the top half of that conference. So you calling the exact Big 12 champion and it being Kansas in a league that is just so much turmoil. I guess they have a better shot in the Big 12 than the Big 10 or SEC, which have a lot less turmoil. But if I had to give an answer, I'm gonna have to give this about a 6.
I was gonna give it a 6
on the boldness rating.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
That is really bold to say. 6 out of 7 that Kansas wins the Big 12.
I think that's just a salty UC fan.
That happens. I've got Kansas's schedule here.
Okay, for funsies.
Just take a look real quick
For
at the end of the
funsies.
show. They play LIU. Don't even know what that is at home. They play Missouri. That's kind of a really rough out-of-conference game, I'm going to be honest. So that's looking kind of like a loss. And then they play Arizona State. Then they have a bye. They play Middle Tennessee, Utah, at Kansas State in a big rivalry game. Baylor, who's not bad. TCU is not bad. UCF is yet never even that bad. West Virginia has been bad. BYU, Oklahoma State. So unfortunately for Kansas, they're hitting BYU, Baylor, TCU, Utah. They don't hit Texas Tech. I think that's
nice.
the real thing that's looking up. By the way, their bye week's week 4.
Ooh,
not super ideal. If they did this, I would be pretty impressed. Luckily, they don't hit Texas Tech. This is true.
I could maybe sneaking in the championship game. I could see it.
I think you need Texas Tech to take out the trash. And now Missouri's out of conference, so I guess that matters less.
That matters very little
but
for that.
You need Texas Tech to kind of wail on some other Big 12 teams, so
BYU.
you can lose it. You can drop a game to TCU or Kansas State.
They'll lose to BYU.
I think it'd be hard to beat BYU and Utah,
but
especially BYU.
But I think Texas Tech is going to beat BYU. So, but at BYU will have the head-to-head.
Yeah.
So
it's at the end of the season. Maybe BYU's fallen apart at this point.
That could be true.
Because BYU has a couple difficult games.
Maybe there is hope.
Maybe there's hope. That's why it's a 6. Okay. Well, that about wraps up our show for today.
Yeah, there you go. I can't believe you still let me rattle on that schedule.
Yeah.
I make the clips, and I'm going to have to clip myself doing that.
No, don't clip it. This will only be for the real show people. I don't even know if I'll put it in the sub episodes even. Maybe it's not worth it.
My brain's out of whack. Call it coaching.
Yeah, we need to lock in
basketball.
Coach Josh will be done coaching basketball soon, and I'm sure he'll be delivering
end of Saturday
higher tier content
Here we
at
go.
that point.
Let's lock in.
His basketball team only has 1 loss. Shout out Salino, who beat them by 1 point.
Dang it.
Ellie, if you're watching, I'm sorry. All right.
Hey, that's it for us.
All right. Cue the outro music. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time.